Hey everybody, welcome to Club Cal Online. I'm Coach Grace and I'm here with Crystal, and we are going to take you through a full body stretch. So we're going to start just by warming up the hips a little bit. Oh, by the way, you may need, if you have some yoga blocks at home, go ahead and grab those. You might need them, you might not. If you don't have them, it's not a big deal. You can use like a pillow or a couple books to prop yourself up if you need it. All right, we're just going to start off with some body weight squats. So toes are turned out slightly. You're going to lower down as low as you can and back up. Okay, if you're one of the more bendy people, you might be able to go all the way down, booty to the floor. If you're not there, you might be stopping right here, and that's totally fine. Right? It doesn't matter what your squat depth is. We're just trying to warm up those hips. Actively pull the knees out wide as you do the squats. Excellent. We're going to focus a lot on hips today, outer hips and inner thighs. That's going to be our main focus for our lower body, and then we'll do some shoulder stretching as well. Awesome, guys. Let's take a couple more reps here. And then we're going to go down to the bottom of our squat, and we're going to hold it. So if you are able to get really low here, awesome. You can put the elbows to the inside of the knees. If you're not here, you might be up here. That's fine. If you're really high up and you need something to hold on to, like a chair or something, can be useful. And we're going to spend some time in our low squat. So if it feels good, take some movement side to side. You'll feel a nice stretch in the ankles. Just starting to gently get into those hips and inner thighs. You can either hold it right here or you can join us for a twist. We're going to take that left hand, grab onto the right ankle, reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. Try not to let this knee collapse inward. We still want to be keeping it wide. If you're a little bit higher up, it might look more like this. That's okay. Or you can just hold that low squat. We're really just warming up here. Lots of options. This one will give you a little bit more of a stretch in the lower back. And then we're going to switch sides. Right ankle to left knee, lift the arm up, or you can just twist open. Crystal's got a shoulder injury she's dealing with, so she's not going into this position, which is totally fine. Everything we do here, we want to keep it in a pain-free range of motion. So if something is painful in a way that is not a nice stretch, but is like sharper shooting, we want to stay away from that. So feel free to move your body around in a way that feels good to you. Good, and then come on out. We're going to come down to hands and knees and take some cat-cows. So shoulders right on top of wrists. You're going to start by arching your back, squeezing your shoulder blades together, lifting the chin, and then other way round. Tuck your chin to your chest, tuck the tailbone under. And then we'll just take some reps just like this, cat-cow, for about 30 seconds. Continuing to warm up the lower back a little bit, also getting into those shoulders. And remember to breathe as you do this. Awesome. Let's take 2 more reps here. Excellent. We're going to start, we're just going to kind of ease our way into the hips. We're going to start with a gentle butterfly stretch. So if your hips are really tight here, I would recommend sitting on a block or a pillow or a stack of books, whatever you can find at home. Feet are together, knees out wide. Having your hips up on a block is just going to help you get your chest a little bit farther forward over those knees. If you don't need it, you're just going to sit on the floor, and we're going to spend about 60 seconds in this position. If you are super flexible, if you're one of those people, you can actually elevate your feet and then push your knees down towards the floor, and this will give you a little extra range. So again, find something that feels good to your body. And we're hanging here for about a minute. You can push the knees down towards the floor if that feels good. You can pull your chest forward. You can just relax here and just kind of let the weight of your chest stretch out your hips. We're about halfway. We got about 10 more seconds here. Take one more big, deep inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Very nice. And then come on out. We're going to take the legs just a little bit wider than the shoulders. The knees are going to be at about 90 degrees. And you're going to swivel the hips side to side. We'll take some movement here. We want to focus on pushing the knees and the hips down towards the floor at that end range of motion. Good. Take a couple more reps here. Pause at that end range. Awesome. Now we're going to go into that position. I'm going to shift a little bit so that my left leg is in front. And we want to make sure that both knees are bent at 90 and there's about 90 degrees through the hips as well. For this one, we're going to fold forward on top of that, that front thigh. This one is another one where you might need a block. If you're extra tight, you can prop the hips up. That'll help you get that chest forward. Okay, we're going to spend about a minute per side. And we're just hanging out here. So you should feel a lovely stretch on the outside of your front leg, right? That might be the glute, the hip, maybe that IT band. And also keep in mind, there's really no wrong way to do this or fail this. You're gonna feel whatever muscle is tightest in any position. And always feel free to adjust these positions a little bit if you don't feel the stretch or if it's not comfortable or if it's painful. You're welcome to move your body around, find different positions that feel good. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Every single body is different and they're gonna need something different. We got about 20 more seconds on this side. You feel that hip stretch?
I do.
This is one of my favorites. Yeah, it does. This is one of my favorite stretches ever. Okay, and before we switch sides, we're actually going to sit the chest up and we're going to lean back a little bit. So by leaning back, now we're targeting the hip flexor on the back leg and we're going to spend about a minute here. Another way to feel this stretch is to twist your torso towards that back leg. I feel it a little bit more when I lean back, so I like this position, but again, feel free to play around with it, to move around, find what feels best for your body. Try to stay relaxed through those hips. We always want to try to relax the muscles that we're trying to stretch. Take this opportunity to take some deep breaths to calm your nervous system. If you're at home, maybe put on some relaxing music in the background. Good. We got about 10 more seconds on this side. Awesome, guys. Come on out. If you need to, before we go right into the other side, if you need to, maybe take a couple reps of those hip swivels, shake it out a little bit. And then when you're ready, we're going to bring the other leg in front. Now remember that setup, we want 90 degrees in both legs, 90 degrees through the hips. If it's too intense, you can bring this heel down a little bit, but aim to get as close to 90 as possible. Sit on the block if you need to. And we're going to fold forward for a minute. Crystal's using the block for her forearms. That's a great way to kind of find an in-between position. And relax. Try to relax the hips. Close the eyes if you need to. Deep breaths here. Also keep in mind as you're stretching that your two sides, your right and left side, are different. They're not going to feel the same, most likely. One's going to be tighter than the other. They might need something slightly different, and that's okay. Feel free to experiment on this other side and see what you need to do here. Got about 15 seconds left. Take one more deep breath in. One more exhale. Very nice. And then we're going to go to the back. Same thing we did before. You can either twist the trunk towards that back leg, or you can just lean straight back either on your palms or on your forearms. And again, we're aiming for this hip flexor, this area right here. You might feel it somewhere else, and that is totally okay. Remember those deep breaths. Try to stay relaxed. Ten more seconds here. Awesome, guys, and come on back up. All right, we'll be coming back to those hips, but we're gonna give them a little bit of a break and give the shoulders some love, all right? So we are going to start on the floor with one of my favorite shoulder stretches, although I feel like I say that about a lot of them, but they all feel really good. We're gonna start with a cactus up stretch. So you're gonna bend one arm, that palm is gonna come down towards the floor. We want that elbow bent at 90 degrees and the elbow is at about shoulder height. You can also do this standing against a wall. I'm gonna show it on the floor. And from here, you're gonna rotate your body open as much as you need to feel that stretch, actively pushing the shoulder down towards the floor. And we're gonna hang here for 60 seconds. If you've been doing a lot of pushing, so planche work or push-ups, dips, any of those movements, this one is a really great one to use after those movements. Just about halfway here. About 20 seconds left. Now's a good time to check in and see if you can take this movement a little bit farther. If not, that's okay, don't force it. Beautiful, and release. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side, creating that 90-degree angle with the elbow. Push the shoulder as close to the floor as you can. It might touch, it might not. Either way, you'll feel that stretch. Roll your body as much as you need to, and we're here for a minute. Remember, the two sides are not going to be the same. This one is for sure my tight side. I don't know about you. Yeah. It's not touching the floor today, but that's okay. We got about 20 seconds to go. Now's a good time to check in to see if you can take it a little bit farther. If not, totally okay. Three, two, and come on out. All right, love those. If you need to, you can take a couple shoulder circles, maybe move the hands. Sometimes my hands fall asleep in those. And we're gonna go back into our hip stretches. starting with a pigeon stretch. So this is where you may need your blocks or pillows if you're tight here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring one leg forward, taking that ankle about right in front of your opposite hip. So I've got my right leg forward, my right knee is out to the right a little bit. We don't want it to be here, right? We want it to be out to the side. Hips are facing down and forward. Now, if you're really tight here, this is where you might want to grab a block or a pillow and just set it underneath your hip, all right? You can keep the chest up, you can drop it down, and we're gonna hold this one for 90 seconds. So we're gonna spend a little bit longer here. And again, feel free to move around as you need to. If it feels more comfortable on your knees and ankles to be off to the side, you can roll off to the side a little bit. That's totally fine. Keep the chest squared forward. If this one just doesn't feel good on your ankles and knees at all, you can go back into that 90-90 shape and fold forward, or you can take a figure 4. All of these stretches are going to target the glutes and outer hips, so find something that feels good on your body. No reason to force yourself into a position that is painful on your joints. We want to be stretching the muscles here. We're a little over halfway. Keep breathing, keep relaxing. I love this stretch as a way just to kind of wind down, to relax, and also a great one to connect with your body. We got 15 more seconds here. Let's see if we can get just a tad bit deeper into that stretch. Good, guys, and that's 90. Come on out. It goes by fast, man. I could spend like 5 minutes in that position. All right, we're gonna take it to the other side. Same thing. Again, find an option that feels good to your body, on your joints. And again, most of us are gonna be feeling the stretch on the outer hip. If your hip flexors are really tight, you might be feeling it here. Ankles maybe as well. Try to stay connected with your breathing. And maybe also notice areas of your body where you're tense, right? Maybe your face, your neck, relax the face, unclench your jaw if you're clenching it. I do that one a lot. Relax your neck. And we're not just stretching out our muscles, but we're also kind of trying to down-regulate our nervous systems a little bit as well. Got about 35 more seconds here. Now is a good time to check in to see if you can take that stretch a little bit deeper. Ten more here. Beautiful, guys. Let's come on out. Let's move around those hips a little bit. Awesome. All right, we're gonna stretch out the inner thighs. So we're gonna do a prone frog for this one. So the best way to get into it is to start off on hands and knees. Keep your knees bent at that 90-degree angle, and you're just gonna walk the knees out. We want about 90 degrees in the knees. You also want your hips and your knees right in one line, right? Rather than having your hips way forward or way back. I'm gonna scoot this way a little bit. This is a really intense stretch. So one thing I like to do, if you have those blocks, you can bring them underneath your belly and just kind of use them to take some of the weight off of the inner thighs. And we're gonna be here for 90 seconds. This is also a good one to take some movement in. So if it feels good, you can rock the hips forward and back. And again, this one does get intense, so you can push down into your forearms, put as many blocks or pillows as you need under your belly to support yourself here. Try to stay relaxed through those hips. We're just over halfway here. Stay connected with the breath. Notice again those places where you tend to tighten up and hold on to tension. Relax the face, relax the neck. Your body will thank you for it. We've got about 15 more seconds here. If you feel like you might be able to, now might be a good time to inch those knees out just a tad bit farther. If not, again, no need to force anything that's not there for you. All right, we're gonna come on out of it. This one can take some time to get out of, so take your time with it. Maybe move those hips around a little bit. And we're gonna finish with one more hip stretch and then we'll go back to the shoulders. This one is a little bit of a rotational stretch for the hips. You might also feel it in the knees. So you're gonna start on your knees just like this. Then from here, you're gonna bring your feet just outside the hips. Now this one's intense, so this is where you might need that block to sit on. If you're feeling all right with the hips elevated and you can bring them down, awesome. Now here's the thing, if you are here and this is still, you don't feel a stretch here, instead of laying back, which is pretty common here, what I want you to actually do is try to bring your feet farther out. That's gonna increase the intensity of the rotation. That's what we're going for, is the internal rotation of the hips. And we're gonna hold this for about a minute. And this one is very intense. So if it starts to get to be too much, you can get some weight in the hands, you can bring yourself out of it. Again, we're not leaning back on this one. If you need to make it more challenging, you're just gonna pull your heels out more. Aim to stay relaxed here. If it gets too intense on the knees or ankles, find something that feels okay on your body. Just over halfway. How's that one feel, Crystal? Okay, good. Where do you feel it the most?
My inner knee and my glutes.
Okay, nice, yep. This one I find everyone feels it in a different spot. There's so many ways that this one can hit your lower body. So again, wherever you feel it is fine. That's probably where your body is tightest in this position. Excellent. All right, that is it for hips. We're going to finish with a few more shoulder stretches. Another one of my favorites. We do this one a lot in our in-person classes. It's called a capsule stretch. You're going to come down to your belly. One arm is going to come underneath your body, palm face up. The other arm comes out front. And we're going to hold this for about a minute. Now, if this is too intense for you, or that it's not happening, you can come up onto your knees and bring the arm to the floor and just kind of push the chest down, push that opposite armpit down. That's a great place to be. If you are one of those super flexible people, you can do the double capsule where both arms come underneath your chest. We're about halfway here. And you should feel the stretch somewhere on the outside of your shoulder. It might be more in the back, it might be more in the front. Again, wherever you're tightest, it's all good. Got just about 10 more seconds here. And let's switch sides. Same thing here, guys. You can just do regular capsule. You can do the elevated where you're on your knees. You can do double capsule with both arms underneath your body. Whatever you gotta do, and we are here for a minute. We're just over halfway here. If you're able to push that opposite armpit down even more, see if you can. If not, that is okay too. And come on out. All right, the last one that we're gonna do is another one of my favorites. Again, I think I say that about all the shoulder stretches. So this one is gonna target the upper back and kind of that rhomboid area, which is kind of a hard area to stretch. So the way I like to do this is to bend my left knee because we don't wanna be stretching the hamstring, right? So I like a little bit of a bent knee. If my left leg is bent, I'm gonna take my right hand and grab the outside of that foot. And then from here, I'm just gonna pull my chest in and kind of pull backwards. And what we're going for is just lengthening through that scap, right? Just letting it relax, and it should stretch out all of this. So you do kind of have to work for this one a little bit. It's not the most relaxing stretch. You do kind of have to actively pull back. I also sometimes like to push my foot into my hand. You feel that, Crystal? Oh, yeah. The back of the shoulder, yeah, it feels amazing. Again, this is a spot that is tough to stretch, and I find that this one just hits the spot for me. So we're gonna spend about a minute here. Again, it is active. You are actively pushing your foot into your hand the whole time. Keep a tight grip on that foot. It's also fairly easy to do this stretch with stall bars, if you have stall bars at home, or anything that you can grab onto and just pull back. That will do the trick. But everyone has a foot, so we can at least do it this way. Awesome, guys, and rest. It's so good, I love that one. All right, let's do it on the other side. You can have your legs straight for this, but again, I do want to make sure that I'm feeling it in my shoulder, so I like to bend my knee, push the foot into the hand, pull back with the chest. Oh, it's amazing. I got to do this one more often. This is a really great one for if you've been doing a lot of horizontal pulling, like rows, ring rows, things like that. This is a good way to stretch out that upper back. Halfway. Remember to stay active. Keep pushing that foot into your hand. When you breathe, see if you can use your inhale to expand your upper chest. That will intensify and deepen that stretch through the shoulder blade. And release it. Let's take a couple shoulder circles here. And that is all we have for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you again next time.